Welcome back to the Supeologists Podcast. This is the show where we dive deep into all things superhero. Whether about all things Marvel or DC, or just superhero things in general, you've come to the right place. Today we've got a fun episode for you as we're diving into some of the latest news in superhero social media. As you can see, this week it is just me today. Unfortunately, Alex could not be here this week just due to some scheduling conflicts. We couldn't get him on this week. And I didn't want to leave you guys hanging, so I still wanted to film something for you guys, at least half an episode. For our audio listeners, by the way, I did upload half a episode on YouTube, so if you still want a full length episode full of our content or whatnot, you can go check out episode 13.5 is what it's called. It really just is half an episode. Didn't want to leave you guys hanging, so they figured I'd post something. To save you some time, if you just want a quick background of what that video was about before you go watch, it's about 15 minutes of just me and Alex talking about some Invincible comic lore. Just a spoiler alert: if you don't know your Invincible comic lore and you do plan on watching the next few seasons of the show Invincible, don't look at that. Don't watch that half episode because it will kind of spoil some aspects of the show for you. But yeah, no, this week is just going to be a solo episode. It is just going to be me and you guys. We're going to have a fun time. Just a quick overview for what's to come in this week's episode. We're going to be reviewing some of you guys, our listeners, our fans, some of your comments, DMs, and things you guys have posted on our social media platforms. We're going to be going over those, looking over them, reading some of them. And then we're also going to be taking a dive into some of the recent superhero news across social media. So with that being said, this week the Supeologists Podcast brings you Super Media Man. All right, without further ado, just like any other episode, we're going to start off our episode with the highs, the lows, and the random bits of our week. We're talking about summits, slumps, and dumps. All right, for our first segment, our summits, slumps, and dumps. I've got a bit. It's been a few weeks since I've actually recorded anything. As you can see, I think our last episode actually had a fresh haircut. It's not as fresh now. But I do have quite a few of summits, slumps, and dumps for you guys. A few summits. I'll start with the highs. A few summits. We are changing scenery for our studio, for the Supeologists studio. Still working on getting some better equipment, and making just, the studio look better. I've had these posters behind me, these Marvel posters behind me. I've had them since I was, probably before I was born, to be honest. I don't think you can see that, but I can just go ahead and list it down for you guys. Behind me, we've got Iron Man 1, 2008 poster. We've got Captain America, the First Avenger, Iron Man 2, Avengers Age of Ultron, and then going to my left, we've got Avengers Infinity War, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man Far From Home, and then you guys have seen plenty of times before, Spider-Man No Way Home on the very end. I do just think that the posters add a little bit of spice, and then we're also sitting on the couch this time around. The couch is very comfortable. Ooh, I could just sleep on this couch. I have slept on this couch, actually. But yeah, we're just trying to do things a little differently here. It will be quite a surprise for Alex when he comes back, but hopefully we continue to evolve and just go up from here for the Supeologists Podcast. Another high. I talked about joining my intramural soccer team for quite a while now. The Feet Finders is what they're called. It's for my college. Some highs for that. We are 2-1. We have won 2 out of the 3 of our games. We've scored a bunch of goals. I think we scored 5 the first game, won the second, or we scored 9 the first game, won the second game, and then 7 the third game. My high is that I am performing, way above these other people. I say that as humbly as possible. It really is a lot of fun. I'm playing with people that do and don't play, so we're all there just to have fun. It's not too competitive. It really just is a fun thing. But of the 3 games, our first game we won 9-4. I scored 5 of the 9 goals, and then our second game, unfortunately, we lost 3-1. It was a very good game. That one was a little bit more competitive, but we all still had a lot of fun. Um, we lost 3-1 that game. I scored the only goal. Honestly, that game probably should have ended up being 3-3. It should have been a tie, to be honest. We had a bunch of chances, we just couldn't capitalize on them. Um, and then our most recent game this past Thursday, we won 7-3. We won 7-3, and I scored 2 goals that game. About this past weekend, another just a fun little off-topic thing. I recently bought a like one of those like body cams you've seen on like Instagram and TikTok where people like have like a body cam or a head cam on, and they are like you can see them dribbling and just cook the entire game. I bought one of those, but unfortunately, we have to wear pennies to distinguish who's on what team, and the pennies that we had were like reversible or interchangeable pennies, so they could flip inside out and be a different color. Because of that, it's so thick that when I had the camera on, the mic was like all muffled, so you can like barely hear what I'm saying. It just sounds like all mumbled and jumbled and whatnot. Um, another high, another summit. I'm starting to work out again, and whenever I work out, working out is one of the best things you can do in your life. It really does help you. People are not joking when it says it really is great for your health and mental health, and specifically, um, whenever I work out, after I'm done, it always just puts me in a productive mindset. Like for example, today I worked out in my home gym, and then when I was done, I wanted to make myself something to eat, right? And when I walk into the kitchen, the dishwasher is full of clean dishes, the sink is full of dirty dishes, and the table just has a bunch of cups and whatnot just sitting there. So I'm like, these dishes got to go. So 2 hours of my day today was spent just doing dishes. Of course I'm not just doing dishes, just doing the dishes. Of course I have something on in the background. Whenever I have something on in the background, it just always pushes me to be more productive and do more. Um, my favorite show, Ted Lasso. I was watching that, and dude, I could do any. I realized today that I can do anything watching that show. But that's gonna be my summits for the past couple weeks. My slumps. I did lose one of my intramural soccer games, so losing is always not the best, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Um, a big slump. This is my second time recording this segment. I tried a different recording software. It did not work. So this is me going through it all for the second time. Another slump, of course, is I am recording this episode 2 nights before it has to be released on Monday. So that's not great. And once again, it is just me. It is a solo episode. I do not have my co-host Alex here with me. But we thug through it. We're gonna push through. The earth still rotates. It's always been my motto. We do what we can control what we can. And now for my dumps, my random bits of the week. I had to register for classes for my school this week. Um, I had everything planned out. I had the classes I had to register for, mapped out. I had everything ready, set to go. But when it came time to actually register, one of my classes, the lecture and lab for one of my classes, got fully booked. So I had to choose something else, and the only one left was a Tuesday Thursday class, which is one of the days I have open. Um, I have my lecture for the class at 11 a.m., but then the lab is at 7 p.m. And as a college student, having a 7 p.m. class is just draining. And for it to be a lab, oh, it's even worse, dude. Let me tell you. Oh, another dump. The other day I was coming back home from school. I tell you, when I have my my commute to and from school, dude. Something has happened every single time. 2 weeks ago, I was going back to school from home. I had to have my student ID with me because that's like my key card to get into my building. And then on that, attached to my key card is my dorm room key. I forgot both of those here at home. I'm 30 minutes away from campus. I pat my pockets and I'm like, I'm forgetting something. I'm forgetting my ID and my dorm room keys. So I have to turn all the way back around and come back and go back home to grab it. But it's 11 a.m. It's 11 p.m. at this point. I'm not driving back home or driving back to school. So I just spent the night back at home, and I ended up missing my first 2 classes. So that wasn't great. And then last week I was packing up my car to come back home. I come home every weekend. So I was packing up my car, and I live on the first floor of my dorm room or my dorm building. I have everything packed. Everything is set and ready to go into my car. It's just sitting on my bed, ready to go. I have to park my car in front of my dorm building, and I had to park it in front of some parking spots because there were already 2 trucks and a sedan in front of me, blocking like the open parking area that you can just park in and then just leave, whatever. Um, so I'm parked outside in front of my building, in front of some parking spots. I walk inside my building to grab my stuff. I'm in and out of that building in less than a minute. And in that time frame, one of the parking and transportation people from my school is parked behind my car, sitting on his hood, and looking at my license plate. And he turns to me and he goes, "Is this yours?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's my car." And he's like, "All right, pull into a spot. I almost gave you a ticket." What? You almost gave me a ticket for being away from my car? I guess an inconvenient spot, but like, you almost gave me a ticket for being away from my car for 30 seconds? Dude, let's be for real. Like, you had to have seen me leave my car. There's no way that you got there that quick and didn't see me. Oh, it was ridiculous. That just got my blood boiling, dude. Oh my gosh. All right, that's gonna be it for our first segment, our Slumps and Dumps segment. Now we're getting to our second segment, our fan mailbag segment. All right, for our second segment, we've got our fan mailbag segment. This is the segment where I am going to look at some of the comments, DMs, messages you guys have sent the Supeologists Podcast across all of our social media platforms, that being YouTube, Spotify, TikTok DMs, Instagram DMs, etc. We're going to be going into it. Over the course of our past episodes, Alex and I have asked you guys to drop us questions, some would you rather prompts, or, opinions of your own that you guys have that you guys would like us to address and talk about. I did just pull a few of them because there are a lot that I still want to go over with Alex when he's back. But let's just get straight into it. We're going to do some Q&A questions first. Starting off with, if you could recast one major MCU role with a different actor, just for fun, who would you choose and why? So, when reading that, major MCU role, that's like Iron Man, Captain America, the big 6 of the original Avengers. I don't think I would change any of the major ones. But coming up, we've got new major roles like the Fantastic Four and the newer characters that are going to carry on the MCU. With that being said, the recast I would make would be the Fantastic Four. Ebon Moss-Bachrach as the Thing is completely fine. Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. Pedro Pascal gives very much a Reed Richards scientist feel than he does a Mr. Fantastic superhero feel. He doesn't look like that superhero. But I do think Pedro Pascal will be a great Reed Richards. Vanessa Kirby, I have said before and I'll say it again, I do not think she is, I guess that all-American woman that is Sue Storm. She is very she's very European and gives off that spy espionage character. Really only because the only things I've ever seen her in are that spy and espionage type of projects, like Mission Impossible or Hobbs and Shaw. She just gives off a villainous nature with an accent. She doesn't really strike me as someone who can play Sue Storm. I mean, all she does have the blonde hair, blue eyes, but that's really it. Um, and I remember in the first teaser trailer that we got for Fantastic Four: First Steps, she's using her power. She's using like her force field or whatever, and she's like mogging the camera. She's mewing in front of the camera. Like what? Why? I remember Alex was like, "Why is she using her face card while she's invisible? Like, why is she using her face card when she's using her powers? I don't. She looks too modelish to be Sue Storm." I just think that's funny. That teaser trailer, it was very good. It was very good to finally see something of this cast and what they can do. I remember before watching that, I was like, I'm not going to give these guys any kind of harsh, you know, thoughts or, put any harsh opinions on these guys because I haven't seen anything yet. I'm not going to make an opinion based on something I haven't even seen yet. Um, but after seeing that first teaser trailer, I was holding out hope, but, kind of lost some of it with that. Um, I've never liked Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch. I don't think he's like hot enough to be Johnny Storm. Because the charisma that Johnny Storm has is what makes him that hothead, that impulsive character that he is. And I just don't think that Joseph Quinn is doing that in this movie. I think Joseph Quinn is more of a childish goofball than he is that charismatic hothead. I did see recently Entertainment Weekly released on social media a Fantastic Four type thing, um, and in that, all four characters of the Fantastic Four, Mister Fantastic, Sue Storm, Human Torch, and the Thing, they're all looking up. They're all in their astronaut suits looking up, and there's like a spotlight on all of them. And in that spotlight, you can see Johnny Storm. Joseph Quinn has like blue contacts in his eyes. His eyes are blue. Joseph Quinn does not look good with blue eyes or blonde hair. I'm sorry, but it doesn't fit. I don't like the way that him as Johnny Storm feels. It doesn't really strike me as a good cast. Moving on to the next question. Do you think DC should fully reboot everything or keep parts of the Snyderverse alive? No, reboot everything. Reboot it all. No. I do like Zack Snyder's vision. I do like the way that he shot his films. They were a lot darker because DC is a lot darker than Marvel. I just don't like how they made Superman a dark character. That's one of the big reasons why I am so excited for James Gunn's Superman Legacy. Next question is, which character do you think needs a redemption arc, either in Marvel or DC? Ooh, redemption arc. Well, DC, I'm not gonna say anything about DC because I'm gonna take DC as James Gunn's DC. I'm not gonna do the Snyderverse because everything in the Snyderverse needs a redemption arc. Like let's be honest there. For recent characters in recent movies, I think Taskmaster needs the biggest redemption. I don't mean like her character needs to do something in the movie to redeem themselves. I mean like Marvel needs to redeem the character Taskmaster because they did Taskmaster terribly in Black Widow. I think Taskmaster needs to have a redemption arc for the writing of their character. Next question is: if you could bring one animated hero into live action, who would it be? Who would you pick? It would have to be Miles Morales Spider Man. To be honest, off the top of my head, that's what came first was Miles Morales Spider Man. I do think that it's better that it is animated than it is live action. But if I couldn't choose Miles Morales and it was solely like someone who was only animated, I think I definitely have to choose Invincible. I think a live action Invincible would be amazing. Again, I do think that the animation version of these characters are going to be way better than anything they can do live action. But live action characters from Invincible or live action characters from Young Justice would be great. Seeing a live action recreation of Young Justice would just for my heart, I grew up on Young Justice. I think that would just be very wholesome for me and very nostalgic. I think I would just love to see that. But for this day's age in superheroes, I do think Invincible would also be pretty exciting to see in live action. Next question: what's your dream crossover that could actually work in a live action setting? Oh, live action setting is what throws that off for me. Again, I think I might have to say Invincible and Spider Man because I know in the comics they do a crossover, but I think Invincible and Spider Man would be pretty cool to see. I think that would be. Now, whether that actually works in live action, well, that's not up to me. That's up to the writers. But I think that would just. I think an Invincible and Spider-Man crossover would be pretty cool. What's one storyline you hope Invincible covers that hasn't happened yet? I said this in the half episode, episode 13.5. Um, quick spoiler alert: if you don't want to be spoiled for future Invincible, skip ahead a minute. One storyline I hope Invincible covers that they haven't yet is a couple things. Mark's children, and the Invincible variants on the deserted planet. I think that their storyline has to be. I think they have to go into that. I really want to see the other Invincibles again, and I really want to see them see how that turns out because Sinister Mark is quite sinister. He eats like all of those Viltrumites or all of those Marks, and then Mohawk Mark and our Mark have to team up to take him down. I hope they go into that. I think that they will, but I hope they let us see it all, and they don't try to like say something off camera or whatnot. Next question. Do you think Marvel should chill on multiverse stuff or keep going bigger? Don't go bigger. Don't go bigger. I think you need to pace yourself, Don't bite off more than you can chew. They should definitely drop the multiverse thing. It's not working. It hasn't worked for a lot of things lately. It's really hard to do live action multiverse. I think that animation does it way better. Take for instance Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse or the Spider-Verse movies. The Spider-Verse movies have done it very well, and I think that it can only be well done through animation. If you could be sidekick to any superhero for a week, who are you choosing? Any superhero. So my favorite Marvel character is Nova, specifically Sam Alexander. If I could be Sam Alexander and I was the sidekick or protege to richer writers, Nova, that's who I would pick 100%. Now, I wouldn't choose Batman because Batman's got the whole trauma and everything. I may pick Dick Grayson because I think I would just get more benefits from Dick Grayson than I would Batman. Batman, I'd get all the harsh training and all the morals, but through Dick Grayson, it would all be very much more heartwarming and very much easier to digest and deal with than taking it all in from Batman. Last one for the Q&A. Do you think we'll ever see a proper Marvel versus DC crossover on screen? No. Properly, no. If we do ever see it on screen, animate it. Don't do live action. It will not work. I do not ever want to see live action Marvel versus DC crossover. That it will not work. I will hate it. All right, now we're gonna move on to some would you rather prompts that you guys gave us in one of our episodes that we had a would you rather segment. Would you rather be trained by Batman for a year or get superpowers from a radioactive accident? See, would I be able to beat any superhero with prep time from training from Batman, or can I gain superpowers? Now, what kind of powers are we talking about? Because it could be like powers that frick me up for my life, like making me deformed. Or could I be in the Bat family? I think I'm choosing Batman. Because if you know me, I'm more of a DC fan than I am. I prefer DC over Marvel, but I am entertained more by Marvel than I am DC. I do favor DC more, but I do enjoy Marvel more, if that makes sense. Would you rather have Wolverine's healing or Doctor Strange magic? Well, with Wolverine's healing, I still feel the pain, you know? I don't know if I want to be able to feel every shot or slash from a wound, you know? I think I would rather just have Doctor Strange's magic because I could turn back time maybe. I could pretty much do anything with magic, really. So I think I'm taking Doctor Strange's magic. Would you rather spend a day as Deadpool or Star-Lord? Deadpool. 100%. Frick what I said about the healing thing a second ago. Deadpool breaking the fourth wall, being crazy, pretty much being an indestructible superhero. Okay, I know he's not indestructible. I know he still feels pain and gets injured or whatnot, but like, I think Deadpool would be way more fun than Star Lord. Would you rather get a perfectly written Fantastic Four movie or a flawless X Men reboot? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. See, now we are already getting a we're getting both of these already. We're already getting a new Fantastic Four movie and new X-Men projects. Do I want X-Men or do I want Fantastic Four? See, now personally, I grew up on Chris Evans' Fantastic Four movie. Um I didn't really grow up on I of course I grew up on Hugh Jackman's X-Men, but I did not rewatch those movies nearly as much as I did Fantastic Four. So, would I choose a perfectly written Fantastic Four movie or a flawless X-Men reboot? Now, with a reboot, does that mean that we're recasting all the characters? Because we've gotten a reboot, like basically a reboot of the X-Men already with the young X-Men, with like James McAvoy and all of them as the X-Men. I think my personal preference would be a perfectly written Fantastic Four because this new Fantastic Four I know is gonna flop. I know it's. I hope to God it doesn't, but I just know it's gonna flop. So if I could really choose, I'd choose for a perfectly written Fantastic Four movie. Would you rather have to babysit Baby Groot or babysit Damian Wayne? Baby Groot. Baby Groot is freaking adorable. Damian Wayne might slit my throat in my sleep. What? I'm not. Damian Wayne's a freaking lunatic, to be honest. Like, Baby Groot's so cute and adorable. I don't care if I can't understand him. He's adorable. It's Baby Groot, dude. Would you rather wear Iron Man's suit forever or be stuck in Hulk form forever? Hulk form, because then I still have that sort of like humanistic nature to me. Whereas if I'm Iron Man, I'm stuck in that suit forever. I can't feel like my own skin. I can't really do anything. I mean, of course, I'd have all the powers of Iron, all the capabilities of the Iron Man suit, but those capabilities run out over time. Hulk, dude, I'd be like bench pressing 700,000 pounds if I really wanted to. That and it's like Hulk is a huge dude. Hulk is Hulk is Hulk. Like take Smart Hulk for example. If I'm stuck in Hulk form, that's gonna be me, pretty much. I'm in Hulk form, but I still have a normal human mind. I'm choosing Hulk form forever. Would you rather be on a mission with Omni Man or trust Homelander to have your back? Now, do I have a good relationship with Homelander? That's the question. I think I'd rather be on a mission with Omni Man. Because knowing what I know of Homelander, I do not trust him. Unless he trusts me. Unless it's kind of like a early seasons noir and Homelander kind of relationship, then yes, I'd choose Homelander. Oh, excuse me. Then yes, I would choose Homelander. Omni Man at this point has more empathy towards other creatures than just Viltrumite at this point. So I think I'd choose Omni Man, to be honest. All right, now we're gonna go over some of your guys' hot takes or opinions. The MCU peaked with Infinity War. Agree or disagree? Oh, see, at Infinity War, I don't know. Me personally, I favor Infinity War over Endgame, but Endgame was both those films were beautiful, but I do think it really peaked at Endgame. But then there were multiple redemptions like Spider-Man No Way Home. But I do think at this point, before Doomsday, before Secret Wars, I do think at this point Endgame was the peak, not Infinity War. But I do think Infinity War is better. But dang, that's actually hard. I feel like I'm contradicting myself when I say this, but Endgame has higher highs than Infinity War. But Infinity War is just a more all around better movie than Endgame was. I think Endgame was definitely the final good movie of the MCU before it all started going downhill. DC animated movies are better than their live action ones. Fight me. Oh, 100% DC animated movies are better. The animated movies, the live action don't even come anywhere close to the animation. The DC animated universe, the DC AMU, oh my gosh, some of the best writing ever. And like Young Justice again, it wasn't even part of the DC AMU, but Young Justice was a beautifully written series. Even though it did kind of lose its way towards the end, it was still had beautiful writing for every season. And in its own, it still had beautiful writing. Marvel needs to stop killing off villains in one movie. Change my mind. I mean, who did they kill off in one movie? They haven't really killed off anybody. I mean, the recent episode of Daredevil Born Again. Spoiler alert. Um, that's the only thing I can think about. But they haven't really killed off any of these villains. They've just stashed them away. Like the leader got arrested. I mean they killed off what's her name in the Marvels. I know that, but I mean I don't really care about that person at all. Kane the Conqueror was a bad one to kill off, but we all thought he was coming back. Until the bad stuff came out, we all thought he was coming back. I mean, I agree and disagree. There are multiple villains that I would be completely fine with them killing off, but there are some, of course, where it's like, I wish they did them differently. I wish they gave them more depth of their character, or just, we got to see more of them before they finally threw them away. But in general, I think that Marvel's fine doing what they're doing. I mean, Doctor Doom better not be a one off. They better keep that man for a while. I mean, I know it's still RDJ, but I want. Doctor Doom is a freaking problem for everybody in the Marvel Universe. They gotta keep Doctor Doom. Invincible is already better than most live action superhero shows. Fair or not? I do think Invincible is better than the majority, if not all, of the MCU shows. 100%. I Invincible is definitely better than The Boys, and Invincible is definitely better than Peacemaker. I'll say that. Yeah, I'd agree with that actually. Invincible is better than most live action superhero shows. Kang was never that interesting to begin with. Anyone else feel that? I could not disagree with you more. Kang was great. Underdeveloped, but because we all thought they were going to cook with him in future movies. But then, again, never got to see that because of all that bad stuff that went down with Jonathan Majors. James Gunn's DCU will be better than the MCU in 5 years. Bold claim or facts? That is a very bold claim. I don't know. I do have very high hopes for James Gunn's DCU. I know that he has a lot of good lineups, like a live action Teen Titans, um, like Superman, like Supergirl, like the dynamic duo with Nightwing and Jason Todd. I do have very high hopes. I do think that he will be very good for the future of the DCU. Um, but in 5 years, we're getting Beyond the Spider Verse. I guess that's not really MCU, but it's still Marvel. We're getting Beyond the Spider Verse, Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, and Spider Man 4. All within the next couple of years. That's what we're getting. I don't think that any of those movies are going to be able to top that. I think the MCU will still be better than the DCU. And I mean, I know a lot of people that are excited for both DC and Marvel, but I mean, people are gonna go to the movie theaters for Marvel, not for DC. People are gonna wait at home to watch DC stream, you know, on their streaming services. And then the last one for the segment. Thanos is still the best villain. No one else has even come close. True? I I have to say yes. Thanos has been great. The only person that I think can even be in that conversation is Kingpin. Kang had so much potential, but they flopped on Kang so bad. I have to agree. Thanos was very well written and portrayed. Oh, wait, is this specific to MCU? Best villain period? Oh, I don't know, actually. That makes it even harder. Because Conquest. We've got Conquest from Invincible. We've got Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker from DC. I think Thanos is definitely towards the top of that list. If he's number one, I think you can definitely make the argument he's for number one. But me sitting here right now, I don't know if I could say definitively that he's number one. I have to either give it to Heath Ledger's Joker or to Josh Brolin's Thanos. It's one of the two. He's definitely one of the best villains. Yes. All right, so that's gonna do it for our second segment, our fan mailbag segment. In the comments or in our DMs, leave any opinions, hot takes, Q&As, would you rather statements, prompts, agree or disagree prompts. Leave as many of those as you want below. I would love to do another one of these segments with your guys' input. So yeah, just let us know on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you want. Wherever you're watching the show, wherever you see this clip, feel free to leave anything down in the comments below. All right, for our third and final segment, we've got our Soup Dates segment. And in this segment, I keep you guys updated on the latest superhero news and social media. Starting off with Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again. We've gotten a sneak peek at season 2. We see Karen and Matt reunited once again. And the biggest headline is Matt Murdock's new black and red Daredevil suit. We see the black suit, and he finally has the red double D's on his suit. It really does just warm my heart seeing the double D's on Daredevil's chest finally. I'm so glad we're finally getting that. And dude, all these pictures of Matt Murdock in this suit, Charlie Cox wearing the black Daredevil suit. He is aura farming in every single one of these pictures. It's unbelievable. It really is so exciting to see. All right, we've also got some release dates for some movies. Beyond the Spider-Verse, the official release date is June 4th, 2027, and it picks up right after Across the Spider-Verse. So, in Across the Spider-Verse, we see Miles, our Miles, and Earth 42 Miles. There have been a lot of superhero social media influencers who have gone to like screenings of this movie, and they have all said that it picks up right after Across the Spider-Verse. We see our Miles and Earth 42 Miles interacting with each other. Um, I just with Beyond the Spider-Verse being delayed so many times, it is really just building up that sense of hype for me, at least. The other release date we've got is for Spider-Man 4. Spider-Man 4 releases July 31st, 2026. We also got the title for Spider-Man 4. Spider-Man 4 is going to be known as Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, Spider-Man 4 takes place during Avengers Doomsday. We also got a release cast of Sadie Sink. She's going to play a major role in Brand New Day, and we know that this Spider-Man movie is going to be more street leveled. So street leveled anything hypes me up. That's one of the reasons why I'm so big on DC and Batman is because it's all street level stuff. It makes it more, you know, personable and relatable because it's like it's because it's happening more on a street leveled environment. It makes it just so much more of that personable and relatable feeling. And then we've also got the Doomsday cast. We see who's there, and more specifically, who's not there. Again, Spider-Man isn't there, and that's just because his story takes place during Doomsday. I do think that they did not release the full cast on purpose. I do think that they are withdrawing some of the cast just so that it does hype us up more for when the actual movie and cast is released. With the cast of Avengers Doomsday, let's go over it real quick. We've got Chris Hemsworth, Vanessa Kirby, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Letitia Wright, Paul Rudd, Wyatt Russell. I don't know how to say his name, but the guy who plays Namor, Eben Moss-Bachrach, Simu Liu, Florence Pugh, Kelsey Grammer, Lewis Pullman, Danny Ramirez, Joseph Quinn, David Harbour, Winston Duke, Hannah John Kamen, Tom Hiddleston, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Alan Cumming, Rebecca, I don't know how to say her last name, but the OG Mystique, James Marsden, Channing Tatum, Pedro Pascal, and RDJ. There's a lot in that needs to be talked about. I do want to talk about it more with Alex when he's here. But just talking about that cast real quick is really all I'm comfortable talking about, especially just by myself. But it's great to see that we're getting most of the Thunderbolts again, some of the new Avengers, some of the old Avengers. Thor and Loki being in the same movie again is going to be quite interesting because Thor still thinks Loki is dead. He doesn't know about the Loki that we've been following in Loki season 1 and 2. He has no idea about that. So seeing the two of them finally reunite should be pretty interesting because it is not the Loki that Thor knows at all. And it's not the Thor that Loki knows at all either. It's also really fun to see some of the OG X-Men, like James Marsden as Cyclops and Ian McKellen as Magneto. I think that knowing that we're going to get some more X-Men projects in the future is going to be great. And I believe it was established or announced that the Russo brothers are going to be the ones producing the future X-Men movies projects. So that's very nice to hear because the Russo brothers, I will trust them with any superhero film ever. The Fantastic Four are confirmed to be in Doomsday as well. And it's starting to feel like Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic is like gonna become the new man, the new face of the MCU. Because RDJ, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, was that face of the MCU because he was the smart guy who started it all. But with Mr. Fantastic's the smartest man, right? And he's the leader of Marvel's first family. He's the leader of the Fantastic Four. He is a leader. I think Pedro Pascal has the ability to become the new face of the MCU. Am I crazy for thinking that, or what? Daredevil Season 2 will assemble a team of heroes to take on Kingpin's anti-vigilante task force. That is going to be amazing. It is theorized that's going to be the Defenders from the Netflix releases, like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. People think they're going to come back. I hope they come back. I honestly could not care less for Jessica Jones. I never watched the show. I did watch Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I rather liked both of those shows. I know that those two shows are very, not well rated amongst the superhero community, but I still think that at least season 1 of both the shows were very good. I liked season 1 of Luke Cage more than season 1 of Iron Fist. But I still think that Iron Fist had very high potential, and the choreography for any fight scene in those shows, or in Iron Fist specifically, was very well done. I really did like those two shows. Of course, I wouldn't put them above Daredevil or anything in the MCU. Um, I might put them over She-Hulk, but I mean, other than that, it's like they're still low in the ranking, but I still think they are overhated. I still think they are overhated and underrated. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this week's episode of the Supeologists Podcast. That's all I have for um, social media news and updates, and all I have down for this week's episode for our fan segment. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this week's episode. All right, so that's gonna do it for this week's episode of the Supeologists Podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe, follow, leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts, and let us know any thoughts or opinions you have on anything superhero related. We would love to share your thoughts and give our feedback on your thoughts here on the Supeologists Podcast. But that's going to do it for this week's episode, Super Media Man. And next week, don't forget to tune in next Monday, where we will be doing a bracket. It should be a fun episode. Hopefully, we've got Alex back, and can't wait to see his reaction for the new studio, for the way that the new setup is. So, until then, see you guys next Monday.